If you want to know how to become powerful as a young man, I'm going to teach you the exact steps from the book, The 48 Laws of Power, that are guaranteed to make you a more powerful person. If you don't know what this book is, it is basically just a book about history, and essentially it just talks about how some guys in history won wars, what they did to gain power, what they did to persuade people. That's basically what this book is about. But you can use the principles from this and apply it to your life, especially as a young man. And I'm going to be breaking down the most important laws from this book that you need to know if you want to be powerful. Real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Adam Blunden. I'm a 15-year-old kid. I just make these videos to help other young men who are in the situation I was in just a few years back. So if you're new, go down and click on the subscribe and post notification button. It's a win-win for both of us. The first law is law number 4 in the book, and it's always say less than necessary. The more you say, the more you risk giving away. In the book, there was a story about this guy who was put on trial, and this is in a time where if you got convicted, you would just get straight up executed, bro, like your head chopped off. And as he went to get executed, the rope that was supposed to be executing him broke. Now back then, this was a sign from the gods that he should not be executed. So as the ruler was writing the paper to free him from the execution, he said one thing that was going to change the fate of his life. He said, "You see, they don't build anything right in Russia, not even a rope." Now, once the guy who was going to sign him off heard this, guess what? They executed him again and he was dead. So if he were to just stay silent, if he were to just say less, he would have been fine. He would have still lived. Now this story is extreme, but it shows the real consequences of saying too much. If you want to be truly powerful and have people respect you, you need to be very aware of the words you say and understand that sometimes it's better to say nothing at all. The next law is law number 5. So much depends on your reputation. Guard it with your life. This law is especially important for young men right now because I think there's this common belief going around that, oh, you're young, you can party, you can get in fights, you can do all this stuff because it will figure itself out when you're older and you'll get better and it doesn't really matter because you're young. But I think people truly don't understand that the reputation you build lasts the rest of your life. Like think of a girl nowadays in today's society. You know, she's making an OnlyFans and everything while she's still hot and she's still young and she's making a pretty decent living and like, wow, I could do this. But then as she gets older and like, no, there's not gonna be many guys going onto OnlyFans buying her stuff anymore. Now what's she gonna do? Oh, I need to go get a job. Think of the reputation you've now built up. Now when they search up your name, they're gonna be like, hold on a second, fuck this. No, you're not working for our company. And now they're gonna be broke, they're gonna be lonely, all because of the reputation. And it's the same for you as a man. If right now you're building the reputation of the guy who sleeps around with a bunch of low quality women and everything, yeah, sure, now your friends in your school who are all degenerates are saying, oh bro, that's so sick, that's so cool, like wow, you're sleeping with so many girls. But what do you think's gonna happen in 5 years, 10 years when you want an actual real wife who's high quality? Well, you're gonna have the reputation of the guy who slept around. And eventually she'll figure out that reputation and eventually it will ruin you. And if you think of this from a war strategy, imagine if you have the reputation of the guy who's unbeatable, you always come up with good tricks, you always can bamboozle your enemies, and someone figures out you've been slacking lately. Someone figures out that you're not living up to your reputation. You will get attacked. Bro, just simply having the reputation of the guy who always beats his enemies probably would keep you away from your enemies so you would never even have to get into battle and prove that reputation. But the moment someone figures out that reputation is false, you are at a high risk of getting attacked. That's why you need to do whatever you can to protect your reputation. The moment you change your reputation, you are at heavy risk for other people to attack you. So you must guard your reputation with your life. Now the next law is law 16, which is use absence to increase honor and respect. Now it's easy to think, especially as a young guy, and I used to think like this too, that the more you're available, the more people will like you. But it's actually the complete opposite. The harder you are to reach and the harder it is to get in contact with you, the more people crave your attention, the more people want it. And that puts you in a very powerful position because you then can control when they get your attention. You can then control what they do for you. Now where most people get this wrong is they think, okay, Adam said that I need to be absent, I need to not always answer texts and everything, so I'm just gonna not answer anyone's texts, I'm gonna leave people undelivered for a day, I'm just gonna go ghost. And then they're like, but Adam, I didn't see any results, it didn't work. Because you're not a person who people want attention from yet. You haven't built yourself up to that point. So this law only works once you've gotten to a point where people want your attention. Once you've gotten to a point where people are texting you, that's when you use absence to increase honor and respect. When you're just a normal fucking guy, when no one's texting you already, what is absence gonna do? If no one's already hitting you up, bro, what is absence? It's just gonna make no one hit you up even more. So you need to become someone who people want attention from before you can use this law to make yourself more powerful. This next law might just save you your life, and it's law number 19, which is know who you are dealing with and don't offend the wrong person. Now in the book, Robert Greene told a story about a guy back in the late 1910s who got scammed for an amount of $45,000, which is the equivalent of like, I don't know, but it's quite a bit of money in like today's world once you do like the conversions from back then. So this guy got scammed for $45,000, and after the man had realized he got scammed, he spent the rest of his life tracking down each of the men in the group that scammed him and putting them all in prison. He ruined his relationship with his wife, his kids, his friends. He basically just sacrificed his whole life to find and put all of these guys away. And what this story tells us is that treating the wrong person badly will be detrimental to your life. This law, right now, I remember reading this law, and when I was reading it, I was like, this could literally save your life. Just knowing this, knowing that you need to be very, very careful to not offend the wrong person. The next time you're gonna offend that quiet kid in the corner that everyone jokes about, you're like, hold on a second. What if I'm offending the wrong kid? What if this kid's a school shooter or something? And this is like a serious thing. This might sound kind of funny and like, haha, school shooter, but like, this shit still happens. Be very careful with who you offend. Know exactly who you are dealing with and what the consequences of dealing with them might be. The final law I'm going to leave you guys with before this video becomes too long is law number 20, which is do not commit to anyone. Now, as I said, some of these laws are pretty extreme. It's not do not commit to anyone forever, but as you're young, it's best to not commit to anyone. And I think most guys are so hasty to commit to someone, especially when it comes to women and dating. But what he talked about in this chapter is that when you do not commit to anyone, it puts you in a position of power because people don't know if they have you or not. People don't know if you're secure or not. So people always want to compete for your attention because they're like, I want to be the one who he commits to. And especially with girls, if you do this, if she thinks you're going out with other girls, she's gonna compete for your attention. It's gonna put you in a more powerful position because she's gonna be thinking, all right, when he asked me to go out, I should go out with him because what if he goes out with a different girl instead? And this is where most guys fail. Most guys think that girls will like them better if they're like, my sweet, you're my only one. You're the only girl I talk to. You're so beautiful and you're the only, like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, call her beautiful, all that stuff. That was like a little bit of an exaggeration, but like, bro, if you're telling her like, oh, you're the only girl I'm talking to, she's gonna think, what the fuck? Why is this the only girl he's talking to? Like, it sounds really weird, but in her primal mind, she's almost gonna be thinking like, why do no other girls want to talk to him? And the longer you don't commit, the more and more power you gain with that person. Now, on the flip side, on the reversal that he talked about in this chapter, which he normally gives like the little reversals for each law, if you do not commit to someone for too long, you risk the potential of them leaving and going somewhere else. So you have to keep them just close enough. You don't have to commit, but you just have to keep them close enough to where they think they might have just got you. Then you kind of pull away a little bit, you show them less attention, then you let them get closer. You need to keep that race in order to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they'll probably go somewhere else. But just never quite commit to them, and that will make you a lot more powerful. If you do want to check out this book, I will leave a link in the description. And as always, be a doer, not a thinker. See ya.